Hey there, it's a Dad Who Games, and today, Drag Strip, Wild Rider, Dead End, Breakdown, and Motormaster. Together, they are the Stunticons. Now, I'm not big into Transformer lore, so I'm not going to go down the whole road of Megatron pulling a Prometheus and breathing life into the Stunticons. No, here we talk about toys. And with my having been the target audience of Hasbro in the 1980s, I feel that I can most logically offer an accurate reason for why we have the Stunticons. How do you have cars battle giant handheld guns and a tape deck? I exclusively only got Autobots because they were all cars and trucks. The Stunticons were my only Decepticons solely because they were the first Decepticon cars. And an 18-wheeler truck? Holy crap, take my parents' money. Plus, they were luxury sports cars. I'm talking like the cars that all over my room, either in a poster format or the latest calendar, I had these cars. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche. And now my favorite toys also had them? Oh, please, me and all the other kids that loved cars growing up are the reason we have the Stunticons. Anyway, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by again. And if you're new here, I hope my video inspires you to subscribe. I'm totally small time, but well, that's why I'm asking for subscriptions. Maybe there's some room left for me in the big time. Before we get started with the up close and personals, and to anyone who might be new to Transformers, I need to express the best part of the Legacy Stunticons with a lesson in scale. A million years ago, this is what I was excited for. This is Wheeljack, Generation 1. Yeah, I painted him and whatnot, so he's not 100% original, but still, the point here is, this is how big most Transformers were. This is how big a Stunticon was. In the cartoon, I mean, granted, in the cartoon maybe they were a little smaller, but I'm pretty sure they were the same size. And, like, look at this. It's like a little, like, I don't understand how they made this work. But what got me really excited was when I was at a store with my son and I found this. It's Wheeljack. Like, the same Wheeljack from what I remember. Because the War for Cybertron happened and they put out all of the original Transformers, but like totally uber modern. The size, they're about the same size as what they used to be. So when I learned that the Stunticons were also going to get an updo, well, we started with this. And now we have this. Holy crap, look at that. Look, it's huge. It looks exactly the same, but it's huge. I knew when I started to see these coming out that I was in for a treat, because I like what they did to the original Transformers. They're still just as cool as they were when I was a kid, but now they actually move and you can pose them. But this was only one part, because they're combiners. They combine into Menasor. So if this was what they were going to be doing to the Stunticon cars, what about Motormaster? Because Motormaster just was this. It's all one piece, and this whole thing transforms into Motormaster. But now, Motormaster is huge. He's his own vehicle. The trailer just becomes Menasor. But look at that. It's huge. It's to scale now with the others. These toys that when they're transformed are about 5.5 inches tall, well, I mean, he's a little bigger, are going to combine to make a big robot. Okay, well, with the why out of the way, it's time to look at the how and the wow. Okay. I showed you how big the cab of Motormaster is now compared to the original, and, well, this is the now separate trailer. No longer permanently attached, it transforms into all the pieces needed to form Menasor: arms, legs, and torso. Even his sword and gun. There's really not much to their transforming, but they make the assembled Menasor not only sturdy, but fully posable, just like all the other modern Transformers. We're going to get up close with each of the Stunticons, vehicle and robot forms, transformations, and some examples of their awesome articulations for posing. Full disclosure, Dragstrip was always my least favorite of the team. A 6-wheeled F1 car? I mean, we got these insane European luxury sports cars, and then this? But believe it or not, it was a real thing! And while a Maserati or Aston Martin would have looked much more spectacular next to the others, Dragstrip is still a great first example of how improved these reimagined toys are. It's clear that they were going for the cartoon aesthetic in the design of the Stunticons, and I absolutely love it. It was the cartoon that gave me the interest in cars to begin with, not the other way around. So the more these toys look like the cartoon, or on the other end, the movie, the better in my book. Both Dragstrip and Dead End are the arms of Menasor, and each has a unique hole to match the corresponding peg of the arm part. Once you attach the car, a secret tab is triggered that enables the car to be split in half. Yeah, it's really just drag strips stuck on the side of Menasor's arm, but as we'll see, it's completely accurate to the cartoon. It was a toss-up between Wild Rider and Dead End as my favorite as a kid. It was actually a Lamborghini-obsessed kid, but Breakdown wasn't going to knock Sideswipe down from the pedestal of the greatest Transformers who are Lamborghinis. For Wild Rider, we've got a Ferrari. And while the cartoon struggled a bit in recreating the curves, all of the other details are clearly present in all forms of the car. It's a Ferrari through and through, but man, if only he had purple instead of red windows and detailing. That would have been perfect. We are going to have to take a moment to call out one design detail that I feel will one day cause the toy to break. You have to bend the hood down in order to get a grip on the windshield to flip it up. I just can't stand bending something that eventually, through bending, will become weak enough to snap. I could be overthinking it, but I felt it was worth mentioning. So, anyway. I think it's Wild Rider's robot form that could seal the deal of his being my favorite of the cars. He has the most proportioned humanoid form. It makes for some really great poses. It's Wild Rider and Breakdown who become the legs of Menasor. And whereas Dragstrip and Dead End didn't need to transform to become the arms, for the legs, you have to again perform the same hood-bending action to put Wild Rider at a 90-degree angle. Some were disappointed that the cars didn't attach to the front of the legs, having Menasor looking more like the original toy, but I prefer the cartoon style, so I'm all in with how it is. Despite his sick Porsche exterior, I feel I might have to place Dead Ends at the bottom of my list. Yes, even with the impending facepalm that is Breakdown, Dead Ends has the most design flaws. First, the rear of the car is also his legs. I don't know if it's just my Dead End or not, but the inner leg is slightly bent and keeps the leg parts from coming fully together in vehicle form. He ends up with a perma-crack. It also makes the feet difficult to put in place in vehicle form. Second, the flaps that flip down from the back end of the car's underside are so tight and difficult to open. Even using the rear wheel as leverage can't make the fit any smoother. The third and final fail? His legs are just too darn big to really get him to stand in any unique or action-oriented pose. I mean, you can, but he would trip over his legs if he were real. Despite the issues, he still looks amazing, and I think that he, next to Motormaster, had the best and most needed redesign to look more like the cartoon. And they really nailed it. Dead End attaches to Menasor's arm in the same exact way as Dragstrip. Okay, before we go any further, this is the perfect time to address the elephant in the room. First, to review, the original cartoon and the original toy were Lamborghini Countaches. Now, I know there's complications with licensing of logos and car likenesses, but I mean, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker were both originally Lamborghinis. And while they're clearly not Lamborghinis now, they certainly give you that same feeling. Like you could easily say that they look like Lamborghinis. So why couldn't they do that with Breakdown? But if that doesn't do it for you, maybe the fact that Breakdown is completely a recolor of Wild Rider might do it. It just seems so lazy of Hasbro. Aside from the color, there are only 3 clear differences. The rears of each vehicle forms are slightly different, and when in robot form, their heads and chests are completely different. But that's about it. Everything else about them is completely identical. And they give me mega run-amok and runabout vibes. This might seem all really disappointing, until you realize that Dead End and Dragstrip are essentially the same design as well. So with that all being said, Breakdown's transformation is 100% identical to Wild Rider's if you don't count the removal of the spoiler as a step. However, just when you think I'm finished, there's more. Each of the Stunticon cars dual wields 2 identical guns, except Breakdown. Nope. Breakdown gets a single small gun that also doubles as the pommel for the spoiler axe? I don't know. But for someone like me who appreciates consistency, it's a big disappointment. But is it possible for disappointment to strike twice? Having the Stunticon cars being identical was already a thing with G1 Breakdown and Dead End, as well as Dragstrip and Wild Rider. Both then and now, the point of the Stunticons is to form Menasor, and they focused on what was the worst part of the original Stunticons, Motormaster. So to be technical, if anyone is feeling shortchanged by the copycat nature of Breakdown, that redundancy is actually pretty accurate to the originals. Okay, now you can't sugarcoat the blatant recolor of Wild Rider, but in terms of the whole team, he fits right in, despite not being a Lamborghini. It also means you get 2 outstanding robot forms. As you would suspect, Breakdown attaches to the leg piece in the same way as Wild Rider. Now, I haven't been mentioning Motormaster in my listings of my favorite Stunticons because his superlative nature has him standing alone as simply the most detailed and well-designed transformer of my collection. Not only is he an accurate reproduction of a Kentworth semi, he now is to scale with the other vehicles in the modern Transformers universe. He also has an equally impressive robot form that, like the others, is right out of the cartoon. But despite being the coup de grace of my Transformers, Motormaster actually has two weak spots. First, on the roof of the cab, there's this flap that can't fully snap shut and is always like a little trapdoor slightly ajar. For someone like me who's all about the aesthetic of these toys, that was a pretty big deal. The other design issue are the tabs located on his wrists that connect and conceal the arms in the back of the cab. You really have to force them in and then out. I totally pre-transformed them for the video. You don't need to see me struggling. But see, I just went through two shortcomings in Motormaster design. There were also some for Dead End too, and Breakdown is a simple carbon copy of Wild Rider, yet I still consider these the best Transformers I have. You can knock any part of them for this or that nitpicking reason, but the reality is that they made these new versions of the Stunticons specifically for kids like me. And what they did was exactly what I know I had dreamed of as a kid. To have full-size Stunticons that look exactly like the cartoon. I mean, even more than the War for Cybertron characters, the Stunticons mirror the originals perfectly. Yes, again, I know Breakdown is in a Lamborghini, but everything else about him is right on the money. That being said, I still get goosebumps when I look at Motormaster. He's such a magnificent upgrade from the original, and he is an absolute pleasure to transform. You know, if you're a tactile person like me. We're about to assemble Menasor, but I just wanted to thank you again for watching my video. It took me a little longer this time to make it, but I really wanted to make it as perfect as possible to make sure I did justice to the Stunticons. I also was busy cleaning up in here and whatnot, and you know, being a dad, husband, pet owner. I feel these videos are getting better in my humble opinion, and I'm always stoked for what I'm going to make next, and I hope you are too. Also, all the music in the background is all my own original music. You can go on SoundCloud, look for A Dad Who Games. There's all my music. I'm constantly making more, and I figured, hey, maybe you might like it too. Anyway, Menasor is itching to get ready, and we haven't even prepped Motormaster for the whole shindig. So I'm going to leave you now, but I will most certainly be back again soon. Thanks again for watching, and until the next, have a day.